Cold calling for me, if I could really like, when I think of cold calling, the first word that comes to mind is like kind of like seduction and slash like tango.
Oh, wow. Welcome to On the Hunt, the podcast where we aim for success one cold call at a time. I'm your host, Jason Meyer, and today we're joined by Elie Abi Nader.
Hi, welcome. No, why did I say welcome? Okay, that's the first blooper. Can we start again? Sorry.
No, we can't.
Okay, great. Well, happy to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Welcome to my show, maybe. Okay, so Elie, you are currently team lead at Brevo, right?
Yes.
Can you tell me a bit more about your journey into the sales, let's say, industry?
Yeah.
And how did you end up in Brevo?
Great. So like basically during like my university years, I decided I wanted to do like international business. And later on did like a master's in luxury and digital marketing. Mm-hmm. After that, I did a few internships and roles in like the fashion and jewelry sector. But to be honest, so like that was like about 2 years of marketing, and I kind of got bored of it. Mm-hmm. Found like it was kind of repetitive.
Hey!
And sorry. But like it's very interesting, but I noticed that honestly there's not a lot of money to make, or not at least the amount that I want to make in marketing. So I decided to like shift to what I thought was the next best thing for me, which was sales in the tech industry, basically. So I did my first job in sales in a small French insurance tech company, where I was actually their first BDR. So I had no previous experience in prospecting, and I was like brought in to like open up the prospecting funnel. So that was very interesting. So did that, was a full-on BDR for about 8 months, a lot of ups and downs, but then started rolling in those interviews, those meetings, and that's when I had the opportunity to like either move on to an AE role, so close deals, or actually build and scale an outbound team. And I took that path, so I then became a BDR manager for about 8 months. Had a team of 4, where everything was rolling, everything was great. Decided I wanted to do something fresh with a bit more international exposure. And so that's when I decided to do the switch to Brevo.
Okay, great. So, Elie, what does cold calling mean to you?
Cold calling for me is like kind of like leaning into that abyss, if I want to say, and like just going into it and having an actual great conversation with someone.
So staring at the abyss until it stares back?
Yes, hopefully it stares back with a smile.
Oh,
with a meeting booked.
Yeah, with a meeting booked.
Yeah.
Okay, so well, on that vein, so what's your strategy to reaching decision makers?
Great question. The first thing starts with quality mapping. I mean, I can't stress this enough. Like I always see, like BDR is not spending the time and actually mapping key decision makers. So like every BDR knows, like we use like Sales Navigator. That's a key tool for prospecting key players. Quality mapping is like the first thing to do. It's super important.
Okay, so what's one technique you swear by to get a prospect's attention? When you get that phone, hello?
Yeah. Something I like to do, which is I kind of call it ego-led storytelling. Like you have to remember you're in a call, you're kind of like disturbing the person at first. So the first thing like you need to do is grab that attention and kind of like stroke their ego. For instance, say, hey Jason, I saw that you're the head of e-commerce of X company. Great, so I know you're the right person to talk to, and like this is gonna echo with you. And so then you follow up with like a super relevant pain point or a super like personalized approach with a use case, if you have it from previous notes. And so that gets the prospect leaning every single time. Doesn't mean that you're actually gonna book a meeting, but the person's for sure going to be more receptive every single time.
And it's gonna remember you.
Definitely.
Okay, because it's all about building a relationship.
Yeah.
It's not only about booking that meeting immediately, but it's building a relationship with the prospect.
Yes and no. If you can't book that meeting, if you can't book that meeting, definitely book that meeting. But obviously, it has to come after a quality discussion with that person, Since we're like prospecting on enterprise level, no, it's not about like booking a lot of meetings, but booking high quality meetings. So definitely you have to kind of like build that relationship with the customer, but you only have a few seconds left, on a BDR level. And so you have to be super impactful, super sharp, super personalized, and bring value to that person.
Right. So, in your experience, what's a common mistake that, let's say, your SDRs or BDRs or the new hires make when starting their cold calling, let's say, adventure?
Great question. Asking a lot of great questions, by the way. And so, like a lot of BDRs need to keep in mind that this is a dialogue, not a monologue. You have to like get the prospect talking, and so when that prospect gets talking, they also kind of subconsciously sell themselves, which opens up the opportunity for good quality conversations. And so that's what like really newcomers in the prospecting world need to understand, is that you're really about like trying to have a meaningful conversation, not about like just selling. They get like 6 to 10 phone calls a day, your prospects. You have to like, stand out.
Yeah. So Elie, on that note, how do you personalize your calls, or you say to your team, to stand out from the rest?
In order to stand out, you have to prepare your call. So it's not about just picking up a number, dialing, pitching, then hanging up, and then on to the next one. You have to really embrace the company and the role and the person that you're about to call. So try to go into like the company's website, identify something that your product can help increase or improve. And so I always look for like those unique triggers, whether it's the launch of their new mobile app, the launch of their new loyalty program, or the revamp of their current loyalty program, or change in leadership, or any event that's going to help me to pitch a very unique and relevant pain point.
Okay, that's great. So every hunter faces, challenges during the hunt, right?
Yeah.
So what's one of the biggest challenges that you faced, that you overcame, and then you try to convey to your team?
Definitely it was the low connection rates, I'd have to say. Something that's like super frustrating is when you're like doing 50, 60 calls a day and you have like no one on the phone. You just kind of like leave the day and feeling like you've accomplished nothing. At the time I had like about like a 2-3% connection rate, which was like really, really low. And so we started like really becoming obsessive with my team about like calling patterns, timings. I really pushed my team to become like really to become disciplined around calling at specific times, whether it was between 9 a.m. and 9:15, 11:30 to 12:30, 1:45 to 2 p.m., 5:30 to 6:30 p.m., stuff like that. And so being disciplined in those calling patterns helped us, one, be more organized in our day-to-day, because you know that you couldn't miss that slot, and two, increase connection rates, which is ultimately what we wanted. So we could have meaningful conversations, book meetings, etc., etc.
So Elie, well, you mentioned something that I found interesting, which is overcoming, let's say, a low connection rate. Do you attribute a low connection rate to low quality data, or to, let's say, the times that people are calling, or both?
Both, to be honest. Both, because this is something that like we always look at also. Prospecting data is key. So you need to have good quality data, make sure that the numbers are correct, that the email addresses are correct as well. Because if you have the wrong email addresses, well, your bounce rates are higher, which means you go into spam, etc. It becomes a vicious cycle. So I don't know, I'm not sure if you're aware of a cool tool that's called Casper. It's a pretty cool tool that helps us get quality data.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really?
So, but yeah, so we use obviously Casper and Cognizant amongst other also data providers. But yeah, so to answer your question, it's both. But the only thing that we can control is the calling patterns, right?
Yeah.
Is the slots. If you see something that needs to be improved, you can only like improve it if it's something that you can control. And if you can't control, make sure that you're doing it the best way you can.
Okay, of course. Okay, so jumping on what you mentioned earlier about having high quality data, both for phones and for emails. So which medium do you prefer? phone or email?
Would it be cheating if I said both?
Of course not. There's no wrong answers here.
But I definitely say having like the right number is super powerful, because the emails, you know, like a lot of emails, we receive a lot of emails, so they definitely like, you know, they're in the mass, in the inbox, they get lost in the inbox. So being able to like follow up on that email with the right phone number is key. We take 80% of our meetings via phone calls.
Okay. So what's the pattern? You call, then you email, then you call?
I wouldn't say there's one defined pattern. I leave it up to my team also to, you know, to kind of like spruce it up a bit the way they want to.
Of course.
It gives them also more control and sense of ownership and responsibility in their prospecting cycle. But yeah, we always start off like with sending one email and then having a follow-up call the day after or 2 days after. The reason why is that we use that email as an icebreaker. So, hey, it's Elie from Brevo. Don't know if you recognize me. I sent you an email 2 days ago. Did you see it? Have you opened it by any chance? No?
I'm looking for it.
Yeah, looking for it. Or, well, anyway, since I have you on the phone, let me tell you why I'm calling you. You know, and so that gives you like also a sense of like relevancy. There's a reason, a legit reason why I'm calling you, and so the prospect is less on the defensive and more actually listening.
Okay, great. So, Elie, selling can be super tough, right? So how do you keep the motivation up for your team when there's a dry spill, when you're getting a lot of no's, when it's like the summertime, you know? How do you keep the motivation up?
Yeah, nothing beats the energy of your team. You know, feeding off of that like group energy is super key. Shout out to my team, by the way. Another cool thing that we do as well is like we celebrate every single win, whether it's small or big. Like when we're just like starting off, like at the beginning of a purchasing cycle where you book that meeting, you send a notification on Slack. The Slack channel goes wild. Everyone starts putting emojis, congratulations. You know, it's those little things that, you know, gives you the energy boost to go throughout your day.
Teamwork
makes the dream work. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
That wasn't prepared.
Exactly.
That wasn't prepared.
Yeah. Can you share one of those, like your first success as an SDR, BDR from back in the day that you can say, oh wow, that was memorable?
I humbly have quite a few great memories, but like I can share the most recent memory that I had that gave me like that feeling of having booked like my first ever meeting. So it was actually like a month ago, end of Jan. Winter sales were still ongoing, and I was working at the office, and like super low activity start Friday 4:30 p.m. right before the weekend, and I received an email on my personal email, and it was from like a super famous liquor store in Paris, and they had sent me like an email, like eight emails within like the span of like 5 days or something like that. And so like I got like super pissed, and I went into like tunnel vision mode. I mapped out the whole account live at 4:30 on Sales Navigator. I found the key person to talk to. I called him up. I'm like, hey, I did the intro. Hey, I'm Elie from Brevo. But listen, like to be honest, I just received the 8th email from you like in the last 5 days. Like, what's up with that? Why haven't you like found a new way to like communicate and engage with your customers? Because I haven't opened any single one of them. And have you thought about doing it via mobile wallets? Something that we sell. And so I kind of like naturally pitched him the mobile wallet and the benefits and the key metrics that he can impact, like reach, etc. It was an instant success. Booked the meeting for the following week. It's now an opportunity. We're working on it, advancing. And so like, I really felt the rush, like if it was my first ever meeting booked.
Well, that's a great story. So I'm going to follow up with 2 things, okay? First, Elie, this is a safe space. If you're getting 8 emails from a liquor store, you know, we can talk about it, okay?
Okay. Listen, Jason, I don't know what to tell you, man.
And then secondly, tell me more about the mobile wallet.
So mobile wallet, probably use it on a personal level to pay with your phone, contactless. Apple Pay. Mm-hmm. So just for a bit more context, I'm part of the Captain Wallet team. Mm-hmm. So Captain Wallet is a mobile wallet solution that was acquired by Brevo back in 2022. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of like the first stepping stone into creating the mobile and loyalty department within Brevo that we have today. And so mobile wallet, what it is, very simply put, it's the native app that you have in your phone, Apple Wallet, Apple and Google Wallets, and you use it to pay with your cards, right?
Yeah.
To pay. But you have another part where you store like your loyalty cards, your boarding passes, etc. By the way, do you have any loyalty cards in your phone?
Yes, I do.
Which brands?
Carrefour.
Client of ours.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. Client, Carrefour, Monoprix, McDonald's, KFC, Jude, Sephora, Marionneau, the biggest retailers in France work with Captain Wallet. And what they do, and the reason why they work for us, the reason why they work with us is simply because we have them open up a new way of communicating with with their customers. You know, in a world where your customers are being like spammed with emails, SMSs, you need to find a new way of like building and nurturing that relationship with them. And you need to do it in a mobile ecosystem because 80% of those, they spend their time on their mobile.
100%.
And so the mobile wallet, it's a native app, so you don't have like that friction of getting a customer, like convincing a customer to download the app. And you can actually, the idea is that you get a customer to download their loyalty cards inside their phone. And once that card is downloaded inside their phone, the brand is able to send them notifications to said customer.
Push notification,
native push notifications, to then retarget for upcoming marketing highlights, Black Friday, Christmas, Valentine's Day, etc., etc., etc. And so it really becomes a premium communications channel that is like in a VIP place inside your customer's phone.
Well, you know what? That's fantastic. But bringing it back to our subject at hand, which is cold calling, if you can give a piece of advice to a new SDR, BDR, and say, hey, this is what you need to, what would it be?
I would definitely say master your introduction. Those first 20 seconds are like key. Like it's your make or break moment. You either have a super personalized approach, impactful, relevant use case to share, you get the prospect leaning in, or you fumble and mumble your words, it becomes such a different call. And you spend the rest of the call trying to, climb back up the ladder. So definitely master your introduction, understand why you're calling that prospect. You have to be genuinely convinced that you're calling that prospect for a good reason.
Okay. Yeah, because once you fall down that ladder, it's a long way up.
It's a long way up.
A long way up.
But you know what? You kind of have to learn it. You have to fall from that ladder so you can understand why it never needs to happen again.
Okay, be careful out there. It's dangerous. So Elie, what's something surprising that you found regarding human behavior and psychology while working in sales?
One weird thing is how receptive your prospects are to the energy you pour into that call, to boil it down. There's a huge difference when you call a prospect and you're actually smiling, even if it's over the phone and the prospect does not see that smile. There's a huge difference in how the prospect answers. Because even though the prospect might be in a meeting or having a bad day, but yet you're smiling, and so he will sense that. The prospect will sense that smile and will not be as defensive as one would expect. So definitely a quirky technique is to always keep smiling when you're on the phone, even if you're on the phone.
Okay, well that's a great answer, Elie. Always keep your smile.
Yeah.
How has sales intelligence tools like Casper helped you sharpen your sales strategy? And to build on it, we can also talk about what feature of Casper do you like the most?
Great. Super cool. Like what I really appreciate about Casper is the quality of the data. Honestly, it's something that's really important, as we discussed earlier, because like 80% of your meetings are being booked by phone. So having that quality data and having it easily accessible, so that extension, it's pure gold. Having that extension available on SalesNav and being able to open up the SalesNav or LinkedIn, open up that extension and getting those numbers is definitely something like that we use on a daily basis and helps us become super efficient in our prospection. And what I also really like about Casper is that also when you can like directly add the information of the coordinates of that prospect directly to your CRM from that extension, so without having to copy paste or do stuff like that, which also in the end enhances your efficiency and helps do more volume of calls.
Okay, well, Elie, I don't know if you are familiar with it, but we offer a native integration with Brevo here at Casper.
Yeah, so I've heard.
Yeah, so you've heard? Okay, well, great. I have two more questions to wrap up our amazing discussion. So, what is your top tip for new SDRs and BDRs?
It might sound a bit cheesy, but I would quote Dory in Finding Nemo.
Oh.
Just keep swimming. It's super important to never give up. To get the ball rolling in prospecting is super tough. You have to find your own mojo, your own rhythm. There's a lot of trial and error. You have to keep going. Just keep swimming.
That's a great advice, not only for work, but for life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, the last question, I promise, Elie, the last question. Okay. If you were to go to a cabin in the woods for a week, what 3 things would you take with you?
Can I ask what there is in the cabin?
Let's say there's Wi-Fi.
Okay. You see, that's the BDR, and you have to ask relevant questions. Okay, so I already have Wi-Fi.
There's Wi-Fi.
Okay, furniture. Is there food?
I mean, you're in the forest. The food is everywhere.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so.
I'll take my laptop.
Yeah.
I'll take 3 things. I'll take my laptop. Assuming that there's Wi-Fi and food, laptop, backgammon board, because I love backgammon. Am I alone in the cabin?
I don't know. I said you can take three
things. And the third thing would be a set of people I love.
Okay.
So I kind of slid that, multiple people into one product.
Well,
I don't know if it was the right answer. I can do it again, by the way.
There's no wrong answers. Yeah. It sounds like a fun
Make
cabin.
it a fun cabin.
It's a fun cabin.
Yeah, okay. Fun cabin.
Well, Elie, thank you so much for joining us in this episode. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you and get all your valuable insights and information.
Thank you so much for having me. Really, really happy to be here with you. And excited for what's next.
Yeah. Okay, and thank you for watching this episode of On the Hunt. Join us next time when another sales expert will join us and share all of their valuable advice.
Yes, can I give a quick shout out to my team?
Yeah.
So shout out Leo, Kevin, Germain, Safidi, and my manager David. Ride or die, prospection team. Let's get 2025 the launch it deserves.
And that's a wrap.